Well, let's shuffle on now to our next topic. Nick, this one's just for you, mate.
Oh.
Mandalorian Season 4 could be the next Star Wars movie before
I
Rey.
heard about this. I don't know the details, though. I haven't had a chance to read up on it.
I
So,
think
this
he
will be
kind of
interesting.
hinted at this before, so I'm not kind of surprised by this, because didn't they kind of say that Filoni was going to be doing a movie?
That was a culmination event, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the culmination movie that he's set up to do.
The Heir to the
Yeah, but I
Empire.
thought
This
there was
isn't that.
supposed to also be a Disney Plus movie that would end up being to wrap everything up for Mandalorian. I thought, remember?
That was the culmination, yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be the culmination one that Filoni's working on. That's going to be in theaters. So if they're doing this,
I thought that was Heir to the Empire, but okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like like Filoni's version,
Yeah.
So yeah, this I mean, maybe they think that it'd be better because they're running out of material to use, because that last season was so terrible. It felt like there was so much stuff thrown in there just to stretch it out, like paper thin, to try to get as much stuff in there as possible. If they did it into a movie and cut out all the fluff out of there and just had the important parts in there, maybe it could work, but I don't know. I'm curious to hear what they say in this article, because I don't know the details.
Well, it's claimed that Disney and Lucasfilm were considering releasing The Mandalorian Season 4 as a movie, but it's now said it might be the next movie before the Rey film. So previous rumors have offered that instead of Season 4 getting released on the Disney Plus streaming service, Lucasfilm will instead release the season as a movie on the big screen. If so, that would mean The Mandalorian Season 4 would be the first Star Wars movie to be released in 7 years, since the release of The Rise of Skywalker.
Garbage
Emperor impression. Disney set Star Wars movie release dates for May 22nd, 2026, December 18th, 2026, and December 12th, 2027. And while it was thought that the May 22nd release was for Rey, according to Jeff Snyder, the Mando movie might get that first. So he says this. He says fans need to keep in mind that the strike changed a lot of stuff, including schedules, scripts, availability, and financial situations. My Disney source reached out because they heard I said that they have their lead for Star Wars. Doesn't sound that is necessarily the case, but here is a reason for that. So this is what I found out. I think we've all been operating under the impression that the Daisy Ridley Star Wars movie was going to be next. It doesn't sound like that might be the next one. And Snyder would continue further and said that, Mandalorian Season 4 could be turned into a movie. However, he does say that he's now starting to hear that is what he's starting to hear, basically. So that the odds are in that the project's favor, whatever Season 4 of The Mandalorian turns out to be, whoever is in it, what shape it takes, it is looking like that could be the next Star Wars movie. And that may be the thing that is announced before the end of the year. I think the Mandalorian Season 4 movie rumors, I think there was something to those. Now, a few things to consider. Mandalorian's never made money for Disney.
Nope.
They've started to wane on popularity now. So would make sense to make a movie out of it quickly before it, to make some money before it wanes in popularity completely. I'd say that makes sense.
Yeah, because it took a big hit after during Season 3 of Mandalorian. People were jumping off that Mando train fairly quickly throughout that Season 3.
Yeah, hugely. So, yeah, I mean, they jumped the shark completely. They, this has never made money for them, but it's been hugely popular. So from a business perspective, you can imagine them looking at this going, fuck, why haven't we done anything with this where we could make some money? Like, what is going on? So to me, it makes sense that they would want to push this out. Wheel the corpse of the Mandalorian out whilst it's still.
Well, they're finally putting it on physical media too.
Yeah. And I actually heard it looks really good.
Well, yeah, because it's uncompressed like it is on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what do we think then?
I'm not surprised in the least. I mean, I thought this is kind of the way things were going anyway. We kind of know Favreau has been squeezed out. All of his ideas and plans got chucked the moment Gina got chucked. So however you want to look at it, that's pretty much where we're at with this. If you like Filoni Star Wars, You're going to get more of it, so enjoy. If you don't,
baloney.
I understand your pain.
We get more of his stuff anyway because his role has increased now. So unfortunately, his touch is going to be on everything.
Yeah. And Donovan Bradford brings up a good point. I was actually thinking about it, and I just saw his comment about the Mando. How's Mando been on merch? The Grogu merch since season 1 has done very well for them. I don't know if they've made any money after the money that they've lost on the actual show on Disney Plus and all that. But yeah, the Mando and Grogu merch has always done well. But after this last season, man, it's starting to be in a decline. People aren't like, running out to the stores trying to get that, latest Grogu merch, or Mando merch right now. Like the hype for that has kind of settled down a little bit to where it's not as big of a deal. So the merch isn't selling as well as it did, in the beginning. I mean, people couldn't wait for Grogu merch to hit the shelves. And when it did, it was flying off the shelves. It
was also it was shit when it came out as well. Their Grogu dolls were awful. So this one, which you can see here, was actually custom made by a sculptor on a friend of the channel, basically Tiffany Flanagan.
Nice.
And this is exceptionally well made because they made some like garbage plasticky thing, didn't they? It was all like
they made a stuffed one.
Terrible.
And then they made some hard plastic ones. A couple of the figures they made retro style and kind of modern style.
Yeah, but I'm starting to see a lot of their stuff starting to show up in clearance.
Yeah.
That means even like you said. Yeah, it looks really good. But yeah, I mean, that was the biggest miss of their lives. And it's their own fault. It's their own doing. Because I mean, at this point, I have yet to anybody to contest my observation of the situation, and that was they weren't ready for it. And or the toy companies said, no, we're not biting that until we know it's a hit, because at that point they had just got kicked in the nuts over the Rise of Skywalker in the last 2 or 3 films or whatever.
Which had no merch. Merch. No action figures came out for Rise of Skywalker.
That's what I kept pointing out, was that it was the first Star Wars movie in history to not have a 3 3/4 inch figure line to go with it. And then we found out why. And the reason was, it wasn't that it wasn't produced. It was. But they had a whole warehouse full of figures that weren't in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Because they had changed the movie so many times that Mattel couldn't keep up or whatever. And they just threw their hands up after a while, and they're like, screw you. And that's why I think they took one look at the Mandalorian stuff, and they're like, oh no, screw you. And this Baby Yoda, the fuck if we're getting Jar Jar Binks all over again.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they were just like, nope, we're done. And then as soon as it was a big hit, because that's where Anna, that Star Wars girl, and a few other people pointed out, because they had actually worked in the business before, where it takes literally X amount of days and time to get something from concept to production to shelf.
Yeah.
And it was literally that amount of time it took from the sudden success of Baby Yoda to actually getting the first merchandise to the shelf. It was like 90 days.
Yeah.
And that is the fastest anybody said that they could ever push to get something out of the, from concept to shelf, if they knew what they were doing like that. Yep. So in that respect, and I know I see 6 and some other people did love Jar Jar, but I'll tell you, just from somebody who had a store at the time, I got stuck with tons of Jar Jar material.
Yeah, Jar Jar was not a big hit. But like Jar Jar is my youngest sister's favorite character. She loves Jar Jar, but there's not enough Jar Jar.
At the time, though, nobody bought any of it. They've rejected it wholesale. That was my point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. Bad times. Mando.
Bad times.
I don't want this movie. I don't want a Rey movie. I don't want any movie.
Oh, I want the Rey movie. Please make the Rey movie. I will have so much content.
Buy a boat.
I will have so much content to put out. Yeah, please make the Rey movie. And I cannot wait for Acolyte to drop, the AKA Scissor Reel show that's not happening. I can't wait for that to drop.
Dear, oh dear. KK Anon. It's real.
It's literally become a running joke at this point, Star Wars. And I'm gonna have fun with it. You know, keep giving us all this crap, you know, if that's what you want to do.
I'm gonna start looking for Mike Zero's USB drive because I need some of those stories.
Yeah. Oh, he started switching it up. He's not doing all Star Wars stuff now.
Oh, I know, but he's doing Disney stuff now.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it is.
He got
what Disney stuff is he?
He's got a new USB flash drive now.
I mean, at this point, do people just watch him like they read the Inquirer?
I think so. Because he gets a shit ton of views.
You know, there's not a Bat Boy in Oregon, but you're going to read that story just because.
Oh, I know, and I literally will put because I'm subscribed to him just because I'm doing stuff around the house. I put Mike Zero on and get stuff done.
Are you fucking for real, Culture? What you doing? don't encourage fucking people like that.
Hey, I watched Grace Randolph for you.
Well, you didn't, because I'm the one that found that segment today, mate.
It's killing his brain cells.
I spent 4 days rebuilding a computer that's not finished yet.
I didn't even know about that till today. You didn't tell me.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It's true. I couldn't. You've no idea.
You've got a cell phone, don't you? Don't sit there and tell me you couldn't tell me.
I'm a bad person.
Unbelievable.
I can't even tell you how many people I let down this week. I mean, I was supposed to make like 9 videos plus do like 8 intros for today's show. So we'll get there.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, well, I did. Yeah, I gave you quite a lot of segments to cover.
It would have been fine. I would have had them all done. I
even made sure I gave you them in time as well.
I know. I would have been golden. Thursdays are the hardest. I know.
Dear, oh dear.